Hello. Welcome to the show, everybody. With Mike. T-Roy is here. What up, T?
Hello, sir.
I see you are wearing a DT Music Energy Theater shirt.
I am celebrating
nice.
bringing it back.
Is that going to go full circle and people start wearing DTE Energy Music Theater T-shirts?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I doubt it. It's good to have her back, though.
It's good to have them out back.
It's one thing I just hate is these things changing names all the time. Whoever
it's the
throws
worst.
money at it.
Why does that bother us? Why should we care?
Well, because you never know what to fucking call it.
Well,
You know,
but
Deer Creek's a good one down in Indy. You know,
yeah.
it's changed around, Eclipse and whatever. I don't even know what the fuck it is now.
I think
It's always Deer Creek. It'll always be Pine Knob.
Well, I don't have a problem with new stadiums, like Little Caesars Arena. Okay.
Sure.
The owners own Little Caesars and they want to name their arena, blah, 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 whatever. But Mile High Stadium, Fenway Park,
Yeah.
those are no. And they kind of made that okay at Mile High. Didn't they call it something at Mile High Stadium?
Yeah, same thing with Arrowhead. It's something, some horrible name like at Arrowhead, and
Yeah.
But the problem is that even that can just change based on the contract and who throws money at it, and
Yeah.
it's just constantly evolving. Like, can we just have fucking names? You can have your sponsorships inside, but
Yeah.
whatever.
I
It's all
don't
about
want to see
dollar.
the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl. College bowl games are the worst.
Yes.
We didn't even go down the list of them, but it was
Oh,
like
so bad.
I don't even know what
I'm.
I'm looking at anymore.
No.
It's like, what is all this shit? But it's it's just a money grab. Mm-hmm. Nothing more.
Yeah, nothing
less.
more, nothing less.
Speaking of sports, congratulations, Matt Stafford.
Finally won a playoff.
Won a playoff game.
Yeah.
And played well. He did finally what because I was texting with my dad and my brother last night as we're watching the game, and they're like, Stafford's gonna flake at some point, but Kyler Murray looks like such shit.
Yeah.
Something's going on with him. He's either injured or something. But Stafford, they were like, wow, how does he make these reckless throws? Like, because I still say, I don't know who throws a prettier ball in the NFL than Matt Stafford.
True. Yeah.
I mean, that dude just zips the ball, tight spiral, can hit spots. I know there's great quarterbacks throughout the NFL, but Matt Stafford is right there.
Mm-hmm.
And then he makes these inexplicable, ridiculous interceptions, something. And the only conclusion I could come to, and tell me if I'm wrong about this, is Matt Stafford spent the last 11, 12 years on a team where he literally by himself had to carry that team. And so he got, I don't know if it's just like ingrained in him to be more reckless.
Not necessarily. I mean, look at Favre. It's a great example. I mean, leads the league with, up there in touchdowns and in
picks.
interceptions.
Yeah.
It's just sort of make bad decisions. You try and make throws that you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Can't necessarily blame it on his tenure here. I mean, I'm sure that didn't help.
Yeah.
And he just
that
had
had to be
come from
ingrained.
behind all the time. But
Something had to be ingrained in Stafford, though, year after year after year after year, having no running game, no defense.
yeah. Well, he was
where it was like
Pat Stafford, at the end of the
he's
game.
the
He
guy.
was just, in the second half
Zinging
and fourth quarter, he'd end up with a whole game's worth of stats.
Yeah.
And they would still lose.
Yeah. But last night, he threw for, I think, 202 yards, couple touchdowns.
Very efficient.
But used the team around him to win that game. He didn't have to carry the whole thing on his back.
Yeah.
Let the receivers go. If there's a play that's not there, get rid of it. Don't worry, your defense has your back on the back end.
That's what he hasn't had in his whole career. Is a team around him.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm happy for him. I knew he wasn't the reason, that he couldn't win a playoff game. People acting like, oh, yeah, Matt Stafford, well, he's never won a playoff game. It's like, yeah, first off, he got robbed in a couple of those playoff games.
That's fair.
That Dallas game was bullshit at the end, that pass interference that they picked up.
Yeah.
When have you ever seen an official pick up a fucking pass interference flag
in Dallas?
In Dallas in that playoff game that would have iced that game.
I'm surprised they didn't go back and give us Dallas 1 second left on the clock in your game.
Yeah.
Just for being the big D.
Yeah, exactly. So Stafford's had a couple moments that were basically stolen from him. The Saints have an argument for most games stolen from him, from them big game moments, but Detroit is right there, and Lions fans know that.
Oh, yeah.
They've been robbed on numerous occasions where it's like, holy shit.
It's not like they have a whole lot to choose from of times they've been in the playoffs.
Right.
Right.
So I wish Stafford luck. He's going against Tom Brady next week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the better they do, the worse our pick. But at this point, fuck it. May as well let them win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I don't think they'll do that, but
Probably not.
who do you have, by the way?
I don't have any money. I could care less.
You don't have a favorite that you think could win it all?
Not really.
Really?
I mean,
I like the
they
Bills.
Figure it out. Yeah,
Bills.
The AFC have been bipolar all year. I don't trust anybody out of the AFC because
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to show up.
Yeah, true.
The same team can go out and blow out the best team in the league and then lay a total fucking egg the next week to the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
So there's no consistency to hang your hat on that side.
Yeah.
So they do look good, and coming into the season, they were probably
They were my favorite.
Them and Kansas City, I would think, are the two coming out of the AFC.
My favorite was definitely Buffalo.
Well, I mean mine. I'm saying just the
consensus.
Favorites.
Yeah. Tampa's up there.
That's the NFC, but okay.
As far as Super Bowl champ, I'm talking about. Yeah. I mean, there were a handful of teams. They were ones of them. But my personal thought was the Bills. Josh Allen's not going to regress. Yeah. He's only going to get better.
Well, they wanted to give the Rams as soon as they signed Stafford, they wanted to give the Rams the Super Bowl.
Guilty.
Yeah.
I figured that could push them over the edge, and maybe it will. We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, it takes a minute to gel and get everybody together. So to think that the guy hadn't even won a playoff game, so to anoint him the MVP and hand him the Lombardi trophy.
I don't like that argument because
I
don't think he was a problem for.
I'm not saying he wasn't. I'm just saying,
games.
but let's let him win a playoff game before we start talking about him winning the Super Bowl already.
Well, there's a track record of players who have never won a playoff game that have gone on to win a Super Bowl. That make that initial run, and they're just great. And it would have been interesting to see Stafford land on a real team. The Lions are, they're the AAA squad in the NFL.
Yeah.
They have been forever.
Yeah.
They're a AA, AAA squad.
Go back to Barry and Megatron and guys like that. Had they done that career in Dallas or some of those other teams, Barry would have the rushing title by
10,000 yards.
Exactly. He might still be running.
Yeah, he might still be playing too. Sort of looks like he can still play. Seeing him in these commercials locally. Yeah. It's nice to see him in Detroit, by the way.
Yeah, it sounds like they're trying to make they're making amends with a lot of these guys that.
Yeah, don't take their money from them.
Yeah,
it's a good way to start.
It's good. Yeah,
Indy showed us how to do that.
Yeah,
with Luck, maybe even with Manning. Luck especially though, where they were like, "Yeah, you want to retire? Keep the couple $1 million that you'd have to technically, by letter of the contract, pay back for not fulfilling the years of it. And they should have let Barry have his.
Yeah.
They should have let Calvin for $1 million.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing?
Spiteful.
Yeah. Shitty. Anyway.
And that's the difference between good organizations and piss poor ones.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're always going to be that way. Hopefully that you can come around, and maybe this is signs of moving forward and growing as an organization.
I love those stories. When the Niners had their big run in the 80s or whatever, and it was like, DeBartolo got the team a private jet. They travel private jet now, and it's the whatever airliner, and we won it all. I'm taking every member of this fucking facility and their family to Hawaii for a week, and we're just gonna go celebrate together. Yeah. And then you read stuff about I don't know if they were the Arizona Cardinals at the time or St. Louis Cardinals, and players coming out of there like, yeah, they have locks on the fucking vending machines. You have to pay $1 for water or for Gatorade
for it, right?
It's like these other squads are putting PlayStations in everyone's locker room, free everything, and it's like these guys are still making guys pull $1 out of their wallet to get a Gatorade at practice.
I think those days are probably gone. But.
Yeah, probably. But there's still some cheap ass owners probably that are skimping on quality towels versus what they get in bulk bullshit ones.
Right.
There's probably some shenanigans still going on some level. But
yeah. Well, you save a buck where you can.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, getting into the news, I was reading this. I wish I could figure out what's going on with the school systems around the country, man.
Yeah, good luck with that.
It's insanity, and I can't figure out what the end game is, what the play is. Like these super woke.
It's the next generation. That's the end game.
Yeah, but you're talking about people in their 60s right now that are standing up for this stuff. And it seems so like whether you agree with this is the way the school system should go, this is how we should teach kids. Clearly, you are not in the majority in the way parents feel about sending their kids to indoctrination camps and super wokeness. You're just not. And the amount of times you see this stuff coming out where it's like, okay, we voted on this and you lost, and then they ignore it, or there's this pushback, this divisive shit. Michigan Democrats tweeted out this weekend, and they were hit so hard by so many people they had to pull the fucking tweet down.
Really?
Yeah. Saying a Facebook post shared Saturday by the state's Democrats on their official page blasted the idea that parents should be involved in what public schools teach their children. Post was taken down this morning or yesterday morning following massive disapproval. Not sure where this. Think about this: if you're a parent with a kid going to school, you get this tweet from the local schools or
I'll try and relate.
Yeah. Not sure where this parent should control what is taught in schools because they are our kids is originating, but parents do have the option to send their kids to a hand-selected private school at their own expense if this is what they desire.
Okay.
Fuck you. First off,
Yep.
they do pay for school. It's called taxes.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
I pay for your fucking kids to go to school. I don't have a choice in that.
Right.
Didn't have kids. I still pay for your fucking kids to go to school. So your answer is a snarky, smart-assy way of saying, if you don't like it, go spend 30 fucking grand that you don't have. Imagine how insulting that is to a parent or parents working their asses off. Middle-class family would love to send their kids to a $30,000 a year school if they could, or $20,000 a year school, but they can't.
No.
They don't have the money to afford it. They're trying to put food on the table and maybe get a new car every few years.
Yep.
It's just insulting on so many levels. The purpose of public education in public schools is not to teach kids only what parents want them to be taught. It's to teach them what society needs them to know. The client of the public school is not the parent, but the entire community, the public.
Okay. Well, that's fair. If it's one parent popping off, then sure.
Yeah.
But when it's collective
Yeah.
pushback, then we are talking about the community. That's what we're talking about.
Not to mention, Troy, nobody had a problem with the curriculum until you radically fucking changed the curriculum.
Very true.
You changed the curriculum radically, and people have a problem with that. Now you want to call them all racists and fucking Nazis? Are you kidding me?
You can't change the rules of the game and then complain when they bitch about it.
Nobody, when we were growing up, complained about the curriculum because they weren't trying to indoctrinate us.
No, we learned.
I mean, to some level, the colleges were, obviously, but
they've
high
always
school
been a
was
little
just
more liberal.
Yeah,
generally. Liberal
sure.
arts college.
We have deleted. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer has been blasted for what many see as meddling by her party members. We have deleted a post that ignored the important role parents play and should play in public schools. Parents need to have a say in their children's education. End of story. But no, that's after heavy criticism and backlash.
That's not the end of the story. That's, Yeah.
How you actually felt was in that post.
Yeah, originally.
Okay, you
Very
let the
tone
veil
deaf.
down. You told everyone how you really feel. No one is dumb enough to think all of a sudden, 24 hours later, after getting shit on by everybody who saw your post, now it's like, oh, hold on. We misspoke. No, you didn't misspeak. You truth spoke for the first time.
Throw it against the wall, see if it sticks.
Yeah, why
when
not?
it doesn't, you got to run over there and clean it up real quick.
The post does not reflect the views of the Michigan Democrats and should not be misinterpreted as a statement of support from our elected officials or candidates. Bullshit.
The fuck was it then?
Yeah, what was it?
Then what
Someone
was
hacked
it?
you? Were you hacked? Were you hacked?
It was one of them ambient tweets.
Was Roseanne Barr behind this tweet?
Yeah.
No, you said the truth. You said the part you're not supposed to say out loud.
Yep.
What you posted was supposed to be sent to all your fucking union members, saying fuck all the parents
Yep.
and their shitty kids. What are we, babysitters? That's how you really feel.
But you said it out loud.
But you said that part out loud.
And then had to retract it.
Yeah, you weren't supposed to says that part out loud to everybody.
Hoping they were going to get, maybe they're hoping they were going to get mad support.
Yeah, because
out
they've
of
gotten that all over the country when they've done this
It's
similar
really
shit.
worked out well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Keep it up. Keep it up. I like it.
Republican candidate for the upcoming gubernatorial. God, a great word.
Told you, it's one of my favorite.
Yeah, you were right. You're spot on.
And I can't not do it in Arnold. Gubernatorial.
Gubernatorial,
Yeah,
California.
just the way it comes out automatically.
And former Detroit police chief, so he's running for the gubernatorial election, James Craig, said parents are the true stakeholders of their children's education. He also labeled the state's Democrats' post as disgraceful and claimed that they have an agenda of indoctrination, not education. Governor Whitmer's Democrat Party irresponsibly just said the client of the public school is not the parent, but the entire community, the public. I vehemently disagree. Parents that expect more out of their local public school and hold them accountable should not be told to get out their checkbook and hit the road. They have already opened their checkbooks, paying taxes, and they deserve good education. Anger is also mounting over efforts to push critical race theory inspired equity lessons in school. and Democrats' attempts to paint anyone opposed as domestic terrorists.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good stance. Stand firm. Stand firm on that one. That's going to win.
Exactly.
That's how you win hearts and minds, T.
Definitely.
That's how you change society.
Yep. Soften it right up.
Other Republicans followed Craig's tone. Gretchen Whitmer and the Democrat Party continue to be in the pockets of teachers' unions. Are so out of touch with Michiganders. They believe parents shouldn't be involved in their children's education. Studies have shown time and time again that parent involvement leads to student success. Parent involvement is exactly what our students need now, more than ever after a year of learning loss that will impact them from years to come thanks to Whitmer's shutdowns. I think that is a reality that is, you can't even foresee the problems.
You're right.
You just can't.
That's those things where you have to nip it in the bud in a way, because if you don't and you let that snowball start rolling down the hill, we're fucked.
Yeah.
You can't stop it once that machine's in progress.
Yeah.
You just can't.
I think those broad shutdowns, kids wearing masks, learning over computers. I watched firsthand. I never would have, but I did because I did a lot of homework with Marshall.
Yeah.
And the stuff his mom was teaching him.
Learn much?
The warden. I actually did learn a few
bet,
things.
yeah.
Yeah. He's in first grade, but it was like, fuck, man, I didn't know that. All right, cool. High five each other. His mom has him, the warden, has him at such a level that it was three steps backwards, 4 steps backwards.
Yep,
like it was insulting. He's doing like multiplications and high-end addition, subtraction. Like he's doing that shit. He's learning a second language. And then you come into these classes and they're like, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3. Like,
No Child Left Behind. Let's make sure everyone's...
This kid knows his ABCs and his 1, 2, 3s. Okay?
We're going to make sure everybody's as dumb as the dumbest kid.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Ridiculous. But seeing these kids, I think it's going to be, I moved to Michigan when I was young, and I came from Texas at the time. And because my dad was stationed on, I think it was Woodby Island, Beeville, Texas, Woodby Island, something like that. Woodby Island might be Seattle. He was there for a while too. But anyway, he was in the Navy, and so we'd moved around a little bit, and I was 5 years old and something like that. And so I came to Michigan, and they wanted to put me in first grade. They said, this kid already knows everything he's going to learn in kindergarten, so put him first. It freaked me the fuck out.
Yeah.
I was the littlest kid in class. I was already a little guy. Just a little guy. I was cute, very rapeable.
Yeah.
But I was young
Apparently
and
not
small,
rapeable
and I knew I was supposed to be going into kindergarten. That was not lost on a 5-year-old, and so it played with me for years. For years, I was the littlest guy. I went through puberty late. All that shit went through my entire scholastic experience. It played out like that. So you're telling me these kids that don't see anybody, or they're stuck wearing a mask, these programs that they had Marshall on, while I didn't see any CRT and I was looking for it, they were still teaching them about 4th of July, Independence Day, the Revolution.
Yeah.
They were doing all that stuff, and I was like, okay, at least he's not being indoctrinated. But that's Arizona. But the glitches and the dumb shit and it was so not what you got in a classroom with your peers.
Oh my God.
Not even close.
No.
So how this affects them, 2 years of that nonsense. How that affects them going forward, your guess is as good as mine, buddy.
Yeah.
I know it affected me a lot growing up.
Yeah.
Having that difference in year. It just did. And so for them, I don't know.
It helped put the fear into them, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Scared to death of touching anything. He's a good kid. He'll be fine, I think. Madison, I'm a little more worried about. Mad wants to wash her hands constantly.
Yeah.
Wants to be doing fucking, wants to tell everyone to wear a mask. And she's, 4.
Yeah.
Well,
she's growing up in Libtown, USA.
She's growing up in Trump country in Libtown, USA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Pleasanton.
Okay.
Pleasanton, California
pocket.
is a little tiny pocket that's kind of a Republican stronghold. It's kind of weird. You'd see people on the corners with Trump signs and shit by like 50 people. It's where John Madden lived.
Okay.
To his Pleasanton, and yeah, so it's a cool community. But if you're telling a 4-year-old, oh my God, if you touch anything, you could die from coronavirus. Not that not that Jen and Kristen are doing that.
No, but everybody else is.
Everyone else is.
Of course.
And they see it. They're living it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But Another area of school, politics get out of hand in one center-right Oregon town. I didn't know there were center-right Oregon towns.
I didn't. I can't speak to which side Oregon is on.
Some students even allegedly forced to pledge allegiance to the gay pride flag.
Okay. Didn't they try that once already and it just didn't work very well?
I think so.
Yeah. I thought that got shut the fuck down right away.
Yeah.
So,
So the school board sought to return to basics by declaring that the school should be politically neutral, okay?
oh, what a great
Novel
idea.
idea.
Yeah. How about we focus on education and not agenda?
Yeah. But administrators and educators simply declined to enforce the policy, while progressive activists tried to destroy any of these board members that went against it. So last year, 4 Newburgh Public Schools, NPS board members drew a line in the sand against what they viewed as indoctrination. After years of schools proudly flying the progressive flag, are you familiar with the progressive flag?
I am not.
That's the pride flag with a black and a brown, like, triangle on there or something.
Okay.
Yeah, a version of the gay pride flag with shades of black and brown to communicate.
To make sure we
communicate.
Incorporate
Stuff everyone
everything
in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Minority oppression as well as Black Lives Matter flags. They would fly these in the classroom. The members voted in August of this year to ban political flags, signs, and clothing. So don't wear your BLM t-shirt to school. Keep the fucking flags out of the goddamn classrooms.
Yeah.
You know, let's not start this here. Come in here, get an
Amen.
education.
Damn right.
Go home and fly all the stupid flags you want. Leadership at NPS is defying the policy. The board members are being targeted by a mob of wealthy progressives, and one has been fired from his job after being doxxed. Teachers are not facing repercussions for continuing to prioritize propaganda over learning. I filed complaints, said one mom with 2 kids in the school district. I've emailed so many different teachers, and they literally ignore me every time. Teachers' unions are seeking to remove the board members from office, as well as suing them. Outside cash from Hollywood celebrities has bankrolled a recall effort.
Oh, fabulous. That's what we need.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we need involved in our schools.
The town of Newburgh has voted red in every presidential election since 2000, but judging by its schools, you wouldn't know it. Over the last several years, BLM and progressive flags began decorating the halls and classrooms.
And again, we're not talking about we're putting up anti-gay flags or anything. We're just going back to neutral. Just no political agenda, no anything. Let's just focus on the education.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just to be clear of what we're talking about here.
So this goes back to June 2020. The board passes an anti-racism resolution, like many other districts nationwide. A month later, a group called Newburgh Equity in Education launched a private Facebook group. The group, which includes the teachers' union members and elected officials, declared that it wishes to convince the then progressive majority school board to adopt critical race theory. In August 2020, so just a couple months later, members created something called the Anti-Racism Family Book Club in schools. Contentious books were taught, such as the one titled Stamped and other works by Ibram X. Kendi. I did not fully realize that the only thing extraordinary about white people is that they think something is extraordinary about white people. That's how Stamped starts.
Okay.
So the only thing good about white people is that they think they're great.
Okay. Yeah.
Sounds
Can't
great.
see any problem with that whatsoever.
No, me either.
No.
I mean, that should be taught.
Yeah. Put that
Nationwide.
one right into the curriculum.
A student union was also formed for only those who identify themselves as black. It was very evident that teachers had an agenda to push. A mother who now drives her kids 35 minutes to school each day after pulling them out of the school system. And there's been a shitload, hundreds and hundreds of parents who have yanked their kids out of the school system. Doesn't it feel like the kids, regardless of identity or color, are being used as pawns to further the divide? This is about learning, and our schools are failing our kids and generations to come. We owe it to our children to do better and be better. So 2021, Trevor DeHart decides to run for school board. Our hope is to get back to neutral learning environment and then, pivot to focus on improving academic performance and opportunities for kids. He's a manufacturing engineer and military veteran who pulled his kids from the schools. We were inundated and barraged with all this other distracting stuff. Our academics have dropped, our test scores have dropped, and all the focus seems to be on politics. Voters agreed. He wins a seat on the board.
Excellent.
Progressive incumbent Ron Mock was shit-canned. Beat it, fuckface. We don't want you here.
Time to go.
Ty Harden-Moore, a CRT consultant who conducted an equity assessment for the city, lost her bid as well. Fuck off, bitch. Beat it.
Next.
Yep. That meant voters had decided to empower a school board majority that believed schools should be apolitical. But the county Democrats and progressives, and progressive Yamhill, that's a town there, an affiliate of the George Soros. God, does his name pop up and all this shit all the time?
It comes up
Fucking
quite a
asshole.
bit, doesn't it?
Isn't he like 900 years old? When is this fucking curmudgeon going to drop dead?
He's probably
He's not
like
even
Bernie.
from this
He's
country.
probably like Bernie. They're just traipsing him and
Yeah.
his money around.
He's like 900 years old. He made a fortune in the market. He found ways to swindle the market and fuck people over. Made $1 gazillion. He's not even from this country, yet his hand is in all these fucking elections.
Yeah.
And George Soros knows that you win at the state level and the local level. Get these fucking nut jobs into the DA's office, the prosecutor's office, the school boards. It's not about winning the presidency. It's about if the playbook is overfund all these tiny little races where no one really gives a shit, no one cares, and then they start making decisions on these big political issues statewide in the end, because there are all these little elections all over, and he's funding all of them. So George Soros linked group Invisible mobilized to attack the board members. In August of 21, the four introduced a resolution called Staff Participation in Political Activities. No employee will use district facilities, equipment, or supplies in connection with his or her political activities, nor will use any time during the workday for such political activities. No employee shall, while acting within the scope of their employment, either during school hours or inside their physical area of responsibility to school, hang, post, erect, or otherwise display any posters, signs, flags, banners, pictures, or other digital or physical image that depicts support or opposition relating to a political, quasi-political, or controversial topic.
I mean, that sounds fucking ridiculous.
Right.
I mean, that is just absolute fucking lunacy. How could you how could anybody believe that that is okay?
Yeah, well, they did.
Fuck.
To the board members, the resolution was a nonpartisan move, given schools are tasked with educating kids, not producing political activists. It seemed hard to disagree with, but Joe Morlock, a career educator who had been superintendent of the Newburgh Public Schools for about 2 years, refused to enforce the ban.
Oh, cool. That's good.
Teachers followed his lead. English teacher Gail Groby told the school board she went so far as to remove the American flag from her classroom.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's such a great sign.
Saying the American flag is the most political symbol there is. She claimed it was terrifying to see DeHart on a Zoom board meeting call. So there's a group board Zoom meeting call. This guy's on. He had the American flag behind him as he was sitting there. Terrifying.
Terrifying. Yeah.
I mean, God knows what could have happened to her. Groby made students pledge allegiance to the pride flag. She's one of those teachers.
Oh, my God.
Middle school principal Casey Petrie, a parent filed a complaint about BLM signs, said, I do not find these signs to be political in nature. As a result, I will not require these signs to be removed. Angie Spratcher made a TikTok video flaunting her defiance of the policy. She also removed the American flag from her class.
Seems like a fireable offense to me.
Yeah, I would think so, too.
I would think
when
so.
you have a board meeting that's been elected by the public and you just decide that you know better than them, yeah, you can fuck off then.
Basically.
It's a very woke administration, Michelle Walker, founder of the Portland group Open Schools USA and a concerned Newburgh resident, said. The town of Newburgh does not know how this happened. It was just infiltration of sorts. The administration is standing against their own policy. The board members who sought neutrality in schools were also pursued in court, where they're facing 3 lawsuits. The ACLU is suing these board members. They claim these policies violate their First and 14th Amendments. A Democrat activist, Kristen Solar, said on a Zoom call that that progressives seek to completely destroy Dave Brown, another board guy. Stoller unveiled a political action committee to recall Mr. Shannon. She raised money for the PAC by sponsoring a student drag queen show in November. A student danced in lingerie and adults threw dollar bills at him while catcalling, whistling.
Holy shit.
Does this sound like
I think I
school?
remember seeing that when that happened. Yeah. You got the principal that got a lap dance.
Cool.
From the guy in lingerie.
Yeah.
So,
While adults threw dollar bills at him?
Yeah. The sad part is, you know how much fucking time and energy is being wasted fighting this back and forth?
Yeah.
The parents that are being so occupied by having to fight this fight when they shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
Think about what that's taking away from.
Yeah.
On every level.
I have to give credit. The Daily Wire, which is Ben Shapiro's group, and there's hundreds of employees there now. So
Alt-right.
Alt-right, Nazism, you know, yeah, of course. The Jew is a Nazi. But whatever. They have an investigative team that's going out and doing reporting. This is their story.
Okay.
This is information that they've gathered, and they are the ones, also the Daily Wire's investigation, and I'd give credit to the journalist or journalists, if I could remember who they were, but either way, it's probably the same people here. They're the ones that broke the Virginia story.
Yeah.
That blew that thing wide open.
They tried to sweep that all under the rug.
Yeah, with the boy in a skirt story and the father being taken down. That father was a saint as far as I'm concerned. I can only imagine what the Vanilla Gorilla would have done.
Oh, goddamn.
If your daughter was raped in school and they were trying to brush it under the rug, you would have gone ham.
Yeah. And he was he was portrayed as a domestic terrorist.
Yeah.
The whole FBI and everything involved in that, right?
Yeah.
They got it so fucking backwards, man.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like they want to push it so far one way, like, but no, it's not. It's not being pushed back the other way. It's just trying to be brought back to the middle.
Yeah, to where it was forever.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's not okay. It's not where
not
we are now.
enough.
Well, why? It's been good enough for years, decades, generations.
Yeah. So Mr. Brown, I'm not going to dig through and find his first name again. He's one of the board guys, Dave Brown. They're trying to destroy Dave Brown. His wife, Judy, a physical ed teacher in the district, fear for their jobs. They are harassed daily. Judy walks on eggshells at work, where she's been given the silent treatment as progressives seek to recall her husband. I was the activities director and went to every dance. I would go to teachers' rooms. They would come to me. Now every day I go to work, I don't know what kind of battle I'll have to deal with. Every classroom has a poster with a brown fist and a big rainbow. Communications and private Facebook page called Equity for Newburgh revealed just how far activists have been willing to go to try to cancel board members and their families. Please contact the Potter's Vineyard and Allison's Inn. Renee Powell brags on her website that her art is on display at both these locations. I doubt the art and wine community support her anti-equity policies and would not want to be patrons at an establishment that does. Powell had her paintings removed from both Potter's and Allison's Inn, where she noted the work was on display for 3 years. The activist went to the winery and asserted she was a white supremacist and a racist.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's the fallback. That's the go-to. That's
just
all.
Destroy everyone who knows them.
Exactly. Just, it's horrifying where we stand in this point in our lives.
Yeah.
That,
God.
Again, I know.
They intend to fight back. We'll see.
I hope
don't know,
so.
Man. It's just.
I don't know where this goes. I don't know where this ends. I'm really, really happy that parents are involved now, because that's the only way anything really happens. If it's just on the political level, you're just going to get crushed. It doesn't matter.
What I find encouraging is not only what you just said, that parents are starting to get involved. They finally are recognizing, like, oh shit, this isn't just going on in California and New York.
Yep.
This is going on in Loudoun County, Virginia.
It's like fashion. It starts in New York and in California, and 3 years later, it's in Oklahoma.
Right.
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Music, all that shit. That's how it goes. Well, now it's a little different, but that's how it started, and that's how it was. It's just the evolution of it.
I'm encouraged that parents recognize it, aren't putting their heads in the stand, and they're showing up. It's not easy.
No, it's not.
It's not easy to go to a school board meeting, and most people are not public speakers.
Yeah.
Most people are not comfortable speaking in front of groups of people.
Especially against the woke mob.
Yeah,
When the backlash that you can face, what these people face on a daily basis, it's not easy.
Yeah.
And in day-to-day life, these people don't speak up.
Yeah.
Until you fuck with their kids.
Yeah.
Until you fuck with their kids.
And I'm impressed. The videos I've seen of some of these parents going up to a podium, knowing that the whole board is waiting to shut them down at any moment, for saying the wrong word, or there's children listening, shut them up. They try to cut them off constantly. And these parents are on point. They know their stuff. They're prepared, and they're not taking it. And little things like that, like, oh, you know what? We're going to fucking oust this piece of shit CRT woman from the board. And we're going to oust this progressive fucking asshole from the board. Yeah. And we're going to claim those seats. And you see how fierce the pushback is, where it's like, even when the community votes, we don't want anything to do with this. Just go back to teaching our kids. Yeah. We don't want to raise political activists who are just marching through the streets for the rest of their lives on behalf of Democrat bullshit policies. Just teach them the basics. We'll take it from there.
Yeah.
You know, seeing the pushback so vehemently against that when the community votes for it, and then you just go, well, no, we're not going to implement it.
Too bad.
Fuck you.
You don't
We're
know.
hanging Brown Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter flags all over the classroom, and we're taking down that evil, horrible American flag.
And that's part of the problem. Like, to take that down and act like that's somehow offensive, but force them to pledge allegiance to the pride flag. I am all for inclusion, man.
Of course.
But that's it. That's not what they're doing.
No.
It's exclusion is
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Yeah.
Forcing I don't know. All right.
Yeah, we could talk all day about it.
I'm choosing not to.
Yeah. No, but it's, you know, the first sentence of that book, you know.
Exactly.
The worst thing about white people, or the extraordinary thing about white people, is that white people think they're extraordinary. Like, what the fuck message is that sending to a kid? Honestly.
The wrong one.
And if you're going to say, hey, this is just payback for years of oppression for black people, well, that was wrong then.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
everybody,
wrong now.
We weren't alive then.
Yeah.
But that's fucking wrong.
Yeah.
It was wrong then. It's wrong now. Why would you want to do something that we know historically was wrong? Why would you want to continue that narrative? We've done a lot of work to clean up the messes of the past.
Yeah.
Like, why would you want to start down this road again? It doesn't make any sense.
Somehow it's not good.
So that what, in 50 years, people can be shitting all over your statues for the way you chose to do things and alienate a certain group of people and just call them all the worst things in the book and fuck with their rights and freedoms? Like, really? No, that doesn't seem like it. Seems like we've got a map of that path. Doesn't end well.
No.
It won't end well for you either.
It's like the way technology is, you know, growing exponentially.
Yeah.
It's sort of like the way we're going politically. It's been this sort of slow progression all along.
Yeah.
On this sort of pace, but now all of a sudden things are just supposed to happen immediately, and if it doesn't, it's the fallback is fucking insane. Cancellation and the woke mob and get on board or go fuck yourself. Well, hold on, you just made this shit up, kind of.
Yeah, like a week ago.
Yeah, wait, so fucking.
Sorry, we didn't all jump
chill
on board
out.
week
Hold on
one.
a second.
Excuse me.
Yeah, pump your brakes.
Yeah. Michael Phelps has come out. He's not come out.
Yeah, I caught a little bit of that today, and I meant to read the article because I was intrigued. To where he stood on that. So.
Well, Michael Phelps was doing an interview, I think, with NBC News, and was asked about the trans
Lee Thomas or Thompson.
Leah.
Yeah.
Leah Thomas.
Leah. Sorry.
And he came out, and people were like, whoa, thank God he's standing up for what's right, and blah, blah, blah. He says that situation is very complicated.
Okay.
I would argue it's very not complicated at all. So that's his first mistake, is calling this situation very complicated.
Yeah. Well, that's a way to just sort of dip your toe in there.
Yeah.
So.
Which is what I think, by and large, is exactly what this story is.
Yeah.
Michael Phelps dips his pinky toe into the controversy.
Can't get too crazy one way or the other, but I'm just going to kind of throw a little nerf toss over there a little bit. Now, let me preface this by saying...
How do I say this without getting canceled?
I am all for...
You can almost see the gun to his head at the side of the stage, you know, in the frame. If they just
panned out a
little bit, you might see the gun to his head as he tries to explain. He said athletes. He compared the issue of athletes like Leah Thomas to doping in order to secure a competitive advantage in the pool. Okay, he was speaking to CNN. Phelps was adamant that something needed to be done about the current guidelines that allow Thomas to compete against swimmers born female, but was unable to share any specific ideas. Like, what could those ideas be?
Yeah.
Just don't. Something needs to be done, but like what?
Clearly, I don't have the answer.
I don't have the answers to that.
This ain't it.
Whatever they're doing right now is probably wrong.
This
we
is
need
fucked
to change
up.
It, but
I mean, don't look at me on how to fix it. But
anyone have any ideas how we could possibly fix this?
Nope, no idea.
I got nothing. I got bubkiss. He basically went on CNN and said, I got bubkiss. I have no idea what we could.
No.
But Michael, really, do you not have any idea what you could do?
No.
It's a very complicated issue. He said,
but at least acknowledging that there's something wrong is a big step forward.
It's okay. It's
It is. He doesn't have to solve
toe in the water.
It is. He doesn't have to solve it, but to at least come out and be like, I don't know how to fix it. I'm just saying that there's something's a little fucked up here.
And this is where we pass the buck, part of the statement.
Of course, sure.
And
it's not his job either. But
no.
But so just the pinky toe I respect.
Michael Phelps would know something about competition.
Absolutely.
And competition levels.
Of course.
Katie Ledecky's the most decorated female swimmer in the history of the sport. Do you think Michael Phelps thinks if I just fucking say I'm a woman today, I should be able to compete with Katie Ledecky, and he wouldn't beat her by fucking 4 laps?
38 seconds.
38 seconds? Of course he would. He knows that.
Yeah.
So from his competitive, from grade school through, 5 Olympics, he fucking knows a little something about competition in the pool.
Yeah.
That's where his expertise could come into play in a story like this.
True.
I think this leads back to the organizing committee again, because it has to be a level playing field. That's something we all need, because that's what sports are. For me, I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know what's going to happen.
Well, because he doesn't have a say in it either, really.
I believe we should all feel comfortable with who we are in our own skin. Yeah, so does everybody, Michael. Everyone.
Well, he's fortunate because no matter which way it wants to shake out, he can beat them all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
If you want to be a chick, try and come over to my side, go ahead.
Yeah, knock yourself out.
That's fine.
But I think sports should all be played on an even playing field. How many times is he going to say level playing field, even playing field?
Well, that's getting his message out there in a way.
It's hard. It's very complicated. And this is my sport and has been my sport my entire career. And honestly, the one thing I would love is everybody being able to compete on an even playing field.
There you go. Like I said, hey, I respect what he's saying. Actually, I really do, because he could just say no comment. I think it's great. He could totally fucking skirt this thing. And now he's not
intended.
Yeah. He's not coming out, demanding change or coming up with solutions, but what he is saying is, all right.
Here's
this ain't right.
This ain't right.
This
Okay.
ain't right.
Here's the problem I have.
As the greatest swimmer in history, this ain't right.
Yeah.
So,
here's what I would say. Here's what I feel. You can tell me if I'm wrong, because I don't profess to be right all the time, even though I usually am. I think he has those opinions, and the fact that he just keeps level playing field, even playing field, level playing field, even playing field, over and over. He has an opinion about this,
of course,
but he knows better
than to come out
and say what his opinion is. That I have a problem with.
He'd be killed.
Yeah, if he came out and truly said what he felt, he would have a problem getting sponsors. He'd be dropped by McDonald's or Gatorade or whoever the fuck Speedo was sponsoring him.
Yep.
He'd be attacked without mercy by the mob. He knows that.
Yep.
So he just kind of dips his toe in quietly and is like, don't ask me any more questions. I'm out.
Yeah, but he also doesn't have a dog in the fight. He's out of it. If he's still competing, maybe there's a difference.
announcing.
Again, he doesn't have a dog in the fight. At this point, it is his sponsor. It's his money. You're not going to fuck with the guy's money when it doesn't directly affect him. He can have his opinion. That's why, again, I said I respect even dipping the toe in the water, because he could totally avoid it altogether.
Well,
he could give you the generic. He could put the whole generic. He could.
How?
Of course he could.
No, because he's going to be interviewed, especially when the Summer Olympics come around. They're going to go, hey, what do you think about Leah Thompson? That's the first question he's going to be asked. He's going to be forced. He can't just go, I have no opinion.
No, you could put the stock answer in there. Oh, I think it's great. I think it's a big step forward for trans sports. I think it's blah, blah, blah.
What about women that feel like they're being bullied by this sort of thing?
Okay.
Then what does he say? Fuck women?
Fuck, I don't know, man.
I know. That's what I'm saying. He's got to answer it.
He does. But you could listen.
This is a lame way to dip your toe in, though, is my point.
This question's answered 1,000 times a day.
Not by Michael Phelps.
Okay, well, so okay.
Right?
No, I understand. But the same bullshit generic answer is given by everyone else in the fucking world. So he could give that generic fucking answer.
Yeah.
There's stock answers that he could just fucking pull out on and just fall back and not say anything. He could give total generic, I see this, da-da-da, da-da-da, whatever. And that's all he's doing now. He's not really fucking breaking any news.
No.
But the fact that he keeps saying level playing field, that, those are at least signs that he's saying he's taking sides without fucking with his money.
Yes. And that's the part where I think people,
This is one chick, one dude, whatever, at Penn that we're talking about right now.
Right.
When we start talking about Olympics and we start talking about, the
that's
national team, I understand it is.
Yeah.
Then it becomes bigger and more front and center.
Yeah.
So does he need to really take a stand right now on that dude? Maybe not.
I think his voice matters. And I think, above all, people worried about their own personal paycheck.
Of course.
I wish, and I get it on some level. I wish those people would be able to take the personal stand that they would honestly take. And behind closed doors.
That goes across the board.
But you wish people would have a little more integrity and be grounded in something and go, you know what, this is just wrong. I'm sorry.
Well, I wish the people wouldn't lose their fucking money for having that opinion.
Yeah.
I wish they didn't take people's livelihoods for having that opinion.
Absolutely.
So I can't fault anybody for not having their money fucked with.
But when you have groups that support you and are behind you, Joe Rogan, they tried to do this too. Joe Rogan went, you're going to get a fucking bitch killed. Okay? Yeah. You have a trans fucking MMA fighter who used to be a dude kicking the snot out of these women. You're going to get one of them killed. And the mob went after him.
True.
And he didn't give a fuck. No. He didn't care about sponsors or money. Which is why 11 million fucking people listened to him. Because agree with him or not, he was at least honest with his opinion.
Yeah. Well,
he told you
nobody's going to die in the pool either. So it's not exactly apples to apples.
But it is about the integrity of the sport.
It is, but he wasn't speaking to the integrity of the sport. He's saying you're going to get a bitch fucking killed.
Yeah, he's probably right.
Fucking killed. And I've seen a couple of those, and they will get a bitch fucking killed.
Yeah.
If they want to keep going down this road.
Yeah.
But it's not the same. Nobody's going to die in the pool if they lose by 38 seconds.
Yeah, that'd be killer. That would suck.
Yeah, that would.
I mean, that
right?
kill.
Kick up such a wake, you drown behind you, just get sucked under by the undertow.
Here's some of the problem I have with this too, because none of Leah Thomas's teammates will come out and voice their opinion publicly.
No, but that's where we're at.
I know. Let me tell you what they're saying though behind the scenes. We've heard some of them. Mm-hmm. We've heard some of them. And I'm starting to hate Leah Thomas.
Yeah.
I didn't hate Leah Thomas before. I thought it'd be fair if she had to swim nude, let her dick and balls create drag underneath her as she swam in the pool. Maybe that would slow her down a little bit, make it a little more, because the chicks are more smooth downstairs. Maybe that drag. Yeah. You know, maybe that would help slow him down in the pool.
It's like a rudder.
But exactly. But, apparently they're not going to do that. Whatever. But none of these people will come out on the record and identify themselves because they're worried about the mass backlash, which we understand, and they're students. I get it. They're female. I get it. But they have spoken out anonymously to air their concerns, saying Thomas is arrogant as shit. Her teammates are upset, and their coach is obsessed with winning. We've heard that before.
Yeah.
She compares herself to Jackie Robinson. She said she's like the Jackie Robinson of trans sports. She laughs about it and mocks the situation.
Talks about how easy it was winning these races. I thought it was going to be harder. Yeah. It was so easy. I was just cruising out there. Was that what Jackie Robinson said?
Yeah, probably.
How easy it was?
Super
he was just
easy.
Cruising out there?
Instead of caring or showing that she cares about what she's doing or what she's doing to her teammates, she's not sympathetic or empathetic at all. Leah has never addressed our team. She never asked if it was okay. She never asked how we felt. She never tried to explain how she feels. She never has said anything to us as a group. She's never addressed anything. Despite setting school records and 2 national records, she shrugged off the fear, telling swimming news site Swam, it's not healthy for me to read it and engage with it at all, so I don't. And that's all I have to say on that.
Yeah.
She will compete in the next month's Ivy League championships. She did, though, in fairness, she's already qualified for the NCAA championships in March. Last week, she was crushed twice in a women's swim meet by another trans competitor. Hold on. No, not what you think, though.
Okay. All right.
Who's transitioning from female to male. First in the 100-yard freestyle, where she placed 5th. Okay. And then again in the 400-yard freestyle. How awesome would that have been if another dude kicked the shit out of her?
Yeah.
That would have been funny.
Well, again, this is, and they even said it back in the day, that Penn's not a good swimming school. We just swim here. We're not like going out for national championships. So the fact that we have somebody from Penn on our women's team that's even just flirting with these records is hysterical.
Yeah.
So you take a woman from a real swim team, then sure, she could probably compete.
Yeah. Which just sounds like she
And again, he hasn't crushed all women's records of all time, things like that.
He's getting close, and he probably will at some point.
Well, I mean, you think he's going to get better?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't think he's going to get
Keep
better.
pumping weights. Thomas was beaten by Yale swimmer Isaac Izzy Hennig, who had his titties removed.
Streamline.
Yeah, but also says he's avoided taking any male hormones so he can continue to compete fairly on the college swim team. I respect that.
Okay.
you know.
Yeah. Well, sooner or later, it's just going to be all trans.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the fucking all trans Olympics.
Yeah. I don't know.
We're going to have real Olympics, Special Olympics, and trans Olympics. I like it.
There you go.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do that, though, because they're real women. They want to be in the real Olympics.
Yeah, aren't they, though?
It's a problem. Are there sports where trans wouldn't be an issue? Chess?
Yes, exactly.
Is that Olympic sports? Chess?
No, probably not.
Ping pong. Guys tend to dominate the ping pong table, though.
I mean,
faster hand-eye coordination.
yeah, you can really go across the board. Billiards, perhaps.
Is that an Olympic sport?
I doubt it, but anything. I mean, no. Is there anything that on any level? It's a real question of that women can do equal to or better than men, besides cook, and even then, they lost on that.
You said cook, not chef.
Yes, exactly. No, that's a great question. I really don't know. I mean, I don't think crochet is an Olympic sport.
Boy, this is getting more offensive as we go.
I know.
Right.
But it's just a reality. I'm not even like bashing women. Is there anything that women have
What
done?
about the gun one?
Triathlon?
Yeah, they're probably not going to compete.
Biathlon? Third favorite bi.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean,
Email us if you can.
yeah,
think
if
of
you can
sports.
find anything that let us know.
It's got to be a competitive competition, though. It
Something,
can't just
yeah,
be.
because it's generally not going to be something overly physical, because historically that's shown us.
Yeah.
But
Walters@DetroitCast.com. Send your emails. I love reading your emails. We love reading your emails.
Yeah,
When they come in. So
it's my favorite.
yeah, a lot of people's favorite.
Best segment of the show.
Yeah, write in. Tell us we're pieces of shit. Tell us you love us. Tell us you hate us. It's
Something.
good.
The interaction is what it's all about.
Oh yeah, it's nice to hear from people that I haven't heard from in a long, long time.
Yeah.
You know, and people are enlightening too. They share stuff that we may have gotten wrong or gotten right. Whatever. It's
Did
good
we
stuff.
get anything wrong?
No.
I don't think so. I'm not used to it.
Come on, dude.
Because trust matters, especially when it's your money. Mark and Jay at LPL Financial work hard to build a relationship of trust by providing thoughtful, objective guidance and placing your interests first. Invest with knowledge, financial advisors who are on your side. Call today and tell them that you're a friend of the show with a no-cost, no-obligation consultation at 248-626-2000 and ask for Mark or Jay.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA SIPC.
Thank you, Jesus.
Giant turd on my thing. I went to go read it, and every time I looked at something, it was blurred out.
What was it?
I don't know, something on my glasses. But,
Oh.
So every time I got to like a spot, I had to like move around so I could read it.
Yeah.
I should have been better.
Are you familiar with, excuse me, Joss Whedon? Joss Whedon?
No.
He's a filmmaker.
Okay. No.
Did the Wonder Woman movie. Wrote Toy Story.
Wrote Toy Story.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
Did Justice League, I believe, before Zack Snyder took over.
Okay. No. Can't say I'm familiar with the work.
Yeah.
I saw Toy Story.
Also, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Okay.
The series.
Yeah. Not a fan, but okay.
Yeah, but it was cool back in
Sure.
the 90s, whatever.
Yeah.
He is getting a lot of shit. Years of people like talking shit. Oh my God, he's abusive and he's blah, blah, blah. And he's finally speaking out about it. People talking about allegations made against him by actors, crew members he worked with, admitting he had multiple affairs with actors on the set of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which he wrote, and attacking the stars of some of his other films. Whedon angered many on the set of Justice League, leaving Gal Gadot to state in December 2020 that she had my own experiences with him, and they weren't the best ones. Her remarks came after her co-star Ray Fisher. He played Cyborg, the black dude.
Okay.
With the red eye, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tweeted, Josh Whedon's on-set treatment of the cast and crew of Justice League was gross, abusive, and unprofessional, and completely unacceptable. So Whedon responded to the claims in an interview with New York Magazine published yesterday. He blamed his affairs on the Buffy set as a result of youthful passions, blamed Gal Gadot, who is Israeli, misunderstanding him because of a language barrier. And then with Fisher, the black dude, he just branded him. The guy's a shit actor. That's nothing I can say. He sucked at acting. Sorry. Whedon rocketed to stardom in 1992 with the film version of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which then became a big, cult series hit. He went on to write Toy Story and Alien Resurrection and then direct some of the most lucrative franchises around, some Marvel and DC Comics films. Since 2017, he's been under a growing cloud as fans reassessed his work and those on set with him began speaking out about his behavior. So he's married to Kai Cole from 95 until 2016 and said he was ashamed of his behavior during the series, which ran from 97 until 2003. So that's Buffy. Mm-hmm. I feel fucking terrible about them. He's now 57. He said it messes up the power dynamic. You know, he's the guy, he's directing, he's the guy in charge.
Yeah. It's funny how that works.
He said he felt he had to sleep with the stunning young actresses because he was powerless to resist.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I get that part, but
people are calling him
to.
a total creep for that part. And I'm going,
I mean, yeah. I mean, I can understand the desire.
Let him explain. He says, I'm not actually joking. He feared that if he did not bang the hot superstar actresses, that he would always regret it.
Yeah, he would. I mean, I'm not sure where you're regretting now. We can have that conversation about regret.
He regrets not filming it?
No. Yeah.
Maybe?
Well,
so you can look back on? I don't know.
Your career starts ending because you were banging the young ones. But
listen, young kids, that was just kind of a thing back in the day.
It wasn't not.
Yeah. That's like 20 years from now, they deem that if you ever rode horseback, you were a fucking abusive monster. The horse, you go, yeah, but in 2021, people rode horseback.
People were just riding it. Yeah.
We're just riding a horse.
Those poor horses.
Fuck you. You're done. You're canceled. How dare you?
User.
You're like, dude, like banging chicks in Hollywood was like, that was Hollywood.
Yeah, that's very true.
How do you reconcile that? Oh, the director banged the hot fucking... Yeah, go be the director so you can do it next. Yeah. And he would have regretted it for all time. If he could have banged Buffy the Vampire Slayer and he didn't, that'd be written on his tombstone.
I should have.
I should have never said no.
I could have, but I didn't.
A woman described him as by Vulture magazine as a high-level member of the Buffy production team, claimed Whedon and one of the actresses came into her office while she was working and began rolling around on the floor, making out. They would bang into my chair. How can you concentrate? It was gross.
Gross. Disgusting.
It happened multiple times. She quit her job, even though she did not have another job to go to. Whedon did not recall this. That seems false. I don't understand that story even a little bit. I lived in terror of my affairs being discovered. One of the Buffy actresses...
That's usually a bad sign.
Yeah.
That's usually the first red flag.
Yeah.
If you live in terror of people finding out about what you're doing.
Yeah, but if you're banging interns and stuff...
Well, just saying.
Like there's a lot of people living in fear. Like,
yeah, well, then it's wrong. If you're afraid of people
Would it stop
knowing what
you
you're
on all
doing,
occasions?
I didn't say it was going to stop me. I'm just saying that, listen, I know the difference between right and wrong. Doesn't mean I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
But don't act like, I didn't have a choice. So right at the time, yet I knew it was so wrong.
Yeah. Well, he was married.
Oh.
So he's like, I'm cheating on my wife. I don't want people to find out about this. I don't think he cared that it was a hot actress. Mm-hmm. But, I could be wrong. I believe Whedon in that case. I find it impossible to believe you would grab a young actress, go into someone else's dressing room and just start making out and rolling around the floor while she's working hard and you're banging into her chair. Yeah. That seems a tad unbelievable. The director's going to have his own dressing room, and so is the other actress. Like, there's no need.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's a total power move, like, I'll show you how in charge I am. Yeah. Sounds absolutely not believable.
As an invitation, maybe.
Yeah. One of the Buffy actresses, Michelle Trachtenberg, said she was warned not to be left alone with Whedon. She claimed in February of this year that Whedon was not allowed in a room alone with her during filming. He says he has no idea what she's talking about, but a source claimed an informal rule did exist, though it was possible Whedon was not aware of it. Like,
of course.
You're like 14. Don't even be in a room alone with him, okay? Another actress, Charisma Carpenter, has criticized his behavior, explaining over the years that he bullied her on set and claimed he called her fat while she was pregnant. This disturbing incidents. So, lots of women have been called fat when they're pregnant, right? I mean, it's not nice.
No.
This incident triggered a chronic physical condition from which I still suffer.
Okay. Of not wanting to be fat?
Yeah, or some dude who worked with you called you fat while you were pregnant, so you were fat, Doesn't mean you are fat.
Plumped up proper.
Yeah, you were carrying another human being inside you. Yeah. Y'all get fat. So what?
It's one of my favorite things to do when I see a pregnant chick. Be like, Jesus Christ, look how fucking fat that chick is. And watch people look like, you. I know. Oh, shit. An asshole.
So she criticized his behavior, explaining over the years that he bullied her on set and claimed he called her fat when she was pregnant. The disturbing incident triggered this condition from which she still suffers. It was a beating, heavy heart that I coped in isolation and at times destructively. So now we're going to blame that comment for anything destructive personally that she did.
Long-term damage.
Sure. She said he called her fat in front of the cast and crew when she was pregnant and asked if she was going to keep it. He was mean and biting, disparaging about others openly, and often played favorites. Sarah Michelle Gellar later posted a statement in support. Whedon told Vulture on Monday he understood now he was not as civilized back then. Yeah. I was young. I yelled. Sometimes you had to yell. This was a very young cast. It was easy for everyone to turn into a cocktail party. I was not mannerly. Most of my experiences with charisma were delightful and charming. She struggled sometimes with her lines, but nobody could hit a punchline harder than her.
And her weight, apparently.
Yeah. Asked if he called her fat when she was pregnant. I did not call her fat. Of course I did not call her fat.
Well, apparently scarred her for life.
For life.
So.
Well, anything destructive she's done personally to herself.
Yep.
Not her responsibility.
No.
It's because he apparently called her fat, disputedly.
Allegedly.
20 years ago. Jeez.
Somebody had to have heard it.
Last year, Gal Gadot said that Whedon threatened her career and told her he'd make sure it would be miserable. He threatened my career and told me that if I did something, he'll make sure my career will be miserable, and I just took care of it on the spot. Whedon said he could make her look incredibly stupid. She had multiple concerns, including issues about her character being more aggressive than her character in Wonder Woman. She wanted to make the character flow from one movie to the next. English is not her first language. I tend to be annoyingly flowery in my speech. He said Gadot misheard a joke that if she wanted to get rid of a scene, she'd have to tie him down on a railroad track and do it over his dead body. Then I was told that I had said something about her dead body and tying her to a railroad track. Gadot responded, I understood perfectly. I believe Gail.
I thought it was Gadot.
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 I thought we had this conversation.
We have.
Yeah.
But I don't
it
think
will always
we ever...
be Gadot.
Gadot.
She's always Gadot to me.
All right. An unnamed actress on Angel, another one of his shows, said the Gadot story sounds familiar. When her agent pushed her to get a raise, Whedon called her at home and said she was never going to work for him or 20th Century Fox again. Wow, he's still using that line, she said about Gadot's quote. Mm-hmm. Anyway, yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
He said, she said.
Yeah, well, he was probably a fucking asshole, and he was banging everybody in sight. And now it's coming back to bite him in the ass.
Yeah, yeah.
Funny how that happens.
That happens.
Yeah, that will happen. Start putting your dick where it doesn't belong. That will happen. Eventually it comes
Who's
back.
to say where it doesn't belong, T? Who's to say?
Generally the laws and marriage certificates.
Well, that's the thing. There's nothing in that says he targeted underage women.
No, I didn't mean illegal. I mean,
or he made chicks blow him to get a part.
No, that's true. There's nothing.
A lot of this is just power dynamic, which is a relatively new thing.
Yeah.
It really is.
there's always been, the boss kind of a thing. It's not necessarily to get a
Yes,
raise.
but it hasn't been. Like, this is a new narrative. Bill Clinton was kind of the start of that.
Well,
sort of.
I mean,
where it became, and it was years later because people chucked Monica under the bus. She was vilified, vilified horribly by the media, by talk radio, by the general public. They did not look at it like, oh yeah, fucking 70-year-old man bangs 20-year-old intern. Well, what's the problem? It was like, she's a whore. It was not like, oh, he abused his power dynamic. That came out 20 years later.
Well,
where people are saying that. It existed, but...
Yeah, that's the evolution.
Well, it's hard to explain because if you're banging your boss and then you stop banging your boss and then he or she fires you, that's discrimination. That's where you can go, I was a subordinate and the only reason I was fired is because I didn't want to continue sleeping with him or her.
Yeah.
That's real. But unless there was a dust up where something like that came up, it was just like, the boss is banging a fucking the new 21-year-old secretary. Like that, you got to admit that was kind of just like
it was definitely a thing. It was definitely a thing.
Yeah,
it's still a thing. It's just a little riskier these days.
A lot riskier these days. One thing that I never thought would be risky was Hugh Hefner's life.
Really?
Yeah, like when you take a story and you go, Hugh Hefner was a monster. He was banging 5 chicks a night. It was like,
No, that's fair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no shit.
that was, exactly.
What did you think he was doing
Yeah.
in the Playboy? Like, really? Luckily for Hugh, he's dead.
Yeah.
So who cares?
Because now they're all coming out to act like they were mortified.
Yeah.
By this whole.
Right. And
Holly, was that the?
Holly Madison?
Yeah, isn't that the first?
Yeah, that was one of them.
Yeah.
She was part of that show, the whatever it was, House Bunnies or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah, but they got a lot of perks out of that.
Yeah.
Millions of dollars, sports cars, the whole world. Like they made out on that too. To come after him now,
Yeah.
it's like, dude, the rest of the world knew exactly what Hugh Hefner was. The stories are interesting. There's a 10-part docuseries that's coming out on A&E. 10-part on Hefner.
Well,
And it sounds kind of rough, T, I'll be honest with you.
there's that was a long fucking run he had of some crazy shit. I can only imagine the stories that guy took to his grave.
And he made it out cleaner than most.
True.
You know what I mean? When you're talking about Penthouse and Cherry Magazine founders and like Hef was always kind of the above that. I'm not going to show women pissing on fucking women in magazine.
Right.
Like he was sort of above it, but turns out he was
The old Larry Flint.
Yeah, right. Larry Flint, good example. Hugh Hefner was a vampire who manipulated and drugged dozens of young women into taking part in degrading orgies while masquerading as a champion of sexual freedom, according to this new documentary, Secrets of Playboy.
Potato. I mean, come
right.
on. Tomato.
If you're going to be known as a champion of sexual freedom,
Exactly.
everything's on the table.
Exactly.
You can't rule out orgies and claim to be the fucking master of sexual freedom.
Yeah, I think that's on the card.
Yeah. Right? Step 1, orgies on the table. So it premieres on A&E if you want to watch on January 24th. It's set to lift the lid on the dark underbelly of Playboy, how its venues became a seedy playground for drug use, sex abuse, and even bestiality. Ex-girlfriends Holly Madison, Sandra Theodore, as well as former bunny mother P.J. Maston, all speak on this. Theodore is now 65, reveals how there was group sex at the mansion 5 nights a week, which broke me like you'd break a horse. Hefner would also host weekly pig nights,
Okay.
in which he would bring in a dozen dog ugly prostitutes to have sex with his friends.
Oh.
I mean, when you've done everything else,
Sure.
right?
I mean,
You get down to pig nights Thursday nights.
pig night, hogging, whatever.
VIP members could do as they pleased, including the revered Soul Train host Don Cornelius, who we'll get to him in a minute. Holly Madison tells how Hefner refused to use protection during sex.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no shit.
Skeet.
How the lifestyle even led to her consider suicide.
Oh, boy. Oh, yeah.
The series also includes interviews with Linda Lovelace, and something happened to her later too. We'll get into that.
Okay.
Hefner fashioned himself as a champion of freedom of speech, sexuality, in a repressive post-war era. But the backlash began in the 70s with the feminist movement, which decried his objectification of women. Secrets of Playboy is arguably the most damning portrayal so far and has extensive interviews with many of Hef's former close associates. According to Mickey Garcia, former director of Playmate Promotions, it was cult-like. The women had been groomed and led to believe they were part of his family. Hef really did believe he owned these women. We had playmates that overdosed, that committed suicide. Sandra Theodore described his sexual demands turned nasty and admits he scared me at the end. You couldn't satisfy him. He wanted more and more and more. The group sex was at least 5 nights a week. They had a protocol. He liked to direct, and you didn't segue away from it. Hefner was a prolific drug user, sending her out to buy coke numerous times. It just got ugly. I felt like he was a ringmaster. I had to put on the same show every night. Same script. Welcome to the family. We're embracing you. It was all a lie. I watched girl after girl show up, fresh-faced, adorable. Their beauty just washed away. We were nothing to him. He was like a vampire. He sucked the life out of these girls. Lisa Barrett, Hefner's exec assistant, said that Hefner had a stockpile of Quaaludes, shit that Kaz was using at the mansion. At the Playboy Mansion, the drug was known as the leg spreaders.
Okay.
Not saying it's right.
Yeah,
Still kind of funny.
No, yeah. I can see it.
They were regarded as a necessary evil because they made women do anything. Hef would have his own prescription, and then he'd have multiple members on staff get prescriptions. He'd go, thank you, I'll take those.
Yeah,
those.
there you go.
And then he'd just pour them into a bowl by the bed.
Stockpile.
Oh, yeah. He had shit tons of them.
Make Cosby look like a fucking noob.
Yeah. Spanish flag. Fuck out of here. Nah. Cocaine was a big deal at the house, and there was a powder room off the Great Hall where underneath an ornate toilet paper holder there was a pile of cocaine. The drug was so widely available that one of Hef's poodles became addicted to it and used to lick it off the floor.
Jeez.
The drugs helped fuel the horrifying pig nights, which happened every Thursday. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
You need that.
Alcohol, too, doesn't help
yeah.
that scenario.
Yeah, alcohol and coke. Yeah. That'll make pig nights happen. Yeah. More exciting pig nights.
I don't understand why you bring in the fucking hogs when you got,
Because you've
Why
done all
order
the
out
hot
the
ones.
pizza? Well, I
that's
guess
what you're
that's
doing
true.
every night of the week.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Variety is the spice of life, as they say. But
Hefner would instruct 2 pimps to bring half a dozen women each to the mansion from Sunset Strip, which at the time was notorious for prostitution. Hef thought the women were pigs, but ordered his VIP male friends not to call them that. A doctor would first examine the women for any diseases or infections before they could have sex with the guests.
Yeah, that's good.
So he's doing a public health service to the girls, too.
Yeah, right.
He really is a champion of medical health for these girls.
Yeah, I'm still not seeing the negatives here.
No, me either. Sometimes he had special women who would come up.
Like special, like roll them in? Or?
She was called the bleeder.
Oh, Jesus.
She would use a very large syringe, draw blood from these different friends, and a girl would come up and blow them or give them hand jobs while she's draining them of blood. Hefner had always had multiple girlfriends, but and I guess John Belushi loved this.
Okay.
Getting his blood drawn while he's getting blown.
All right. Hey,
Yeah, that was his jam, dude.
Everybody's got their thing.
Yeah,
Sure.
John Belushi, that was his jam. Hefner, by the 2000s, he was going out numerous times a week with 7 blondes who he said he was dating all of them at the same time. Among them, Holly Madison. On her first night out with Hef, he ordered her to have a Quaalude, and said they were known as thigh openers in the 70s.
No.
So leg spreaders.
Yeah. Yeah.
She declined, but ended up banging him and the other girls that night, anyways.
Okay.
Good for him.
Well, I guess she didn't need it then.
He also flipped out. She cut her hair once. Blonde.
Oh, well.
And he apparently said,
Was not a fan.
"You look old, hard, and cheap." I was afraid to leave. Something always lingering in the back of my mind since the very beginning. Yeah, like you have no cash or a place to live, or a car, or a TV show, or a movie.
Right.
Yeah, all those things were just lingering
All those
in the
things. Yeah.
back of my head.
What am I going to do if I leave?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
How am I going to shop at Versace if I leave?
Yeah.
Can I still shop at Gucci every day if I leave?
You're still a prostitute. It's just very well paid.
Very well paid.
Prostitute.
Yeah. When you go out with Hef, he was taking all kinds of naked pictures of his women when they were wasted out of their minds. Yeah, he ran Playboy magazine. That's basically what he does.
Did it when they were sober. Did it when they were wasted. That's was made a career out of it.
Were you surprised Hugh Hefner
Took naked pictures
took
of people.
naked pictures? Wow. You're dumber than I thought, sweetheart. I mean,
Well, in
come
the
on.
magazine, he had people do it for him. So
He would print off 8 copies for him and all the women and pass them around. It was just gross. I drank heavily every night we went out. I was coping with the situation that
like
way.
they'd never seen each other naked. You got to give each other the pictures of them. Here's Holly. Spread wide.
The other thing he would do is he apparently had cameras all over the house and the gardens, and he had microphones too. And then he would invite all the top reporters over, and inevitably they'd slip up and say something they shouldn't or do something they shouldn't.
Yeah.
And he'd have it on camera, and they're like, "We're going to do this story about you being a vampire." He's like, "Really?
Oh, are you though?
Take a look at this video first.
Okay.
How about we listen to these audio
Remember when you
tapes
put it in her
first?"
butt?
Yeah. The fucking 18-year-old who just arrived that day. He had some Quaaludes.
Here you go.
Here's the documentation, video and audio.
Funny how that
included.
all works.
The documentary also reveals his interests sometimes verged into the more lurid territory. I walked in once, and he was gestures with hand to our dog. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Dogs have needs." I said, "Stop that. I never let them be alone with their dogs again." More disgusting incident happened with Linda Lovelace.
Okay.
Okay, Linda Lovelace is what was she?
She's,
Porn star.
Famous porn star. Yeah.
Not Debbie Does Dallas, but not Behind the Green Door.
Oh, Lovelace might be Debbie.
Was
I think
she?
that might be Lovelace. Trying to think. I mean, it's older. It's before my time.
Yeah.
But I think Lovelace might be Debbie.
Okay, maybe.
Perhaps.
Along those lines. What was
Yeah.
that? Late 70s?
Yeah.
When they were still doing those in
somewhere
theaters.
in there. Yeah.
A more
Again,
disturbing,
before my time.
more disturbing incident happened with her. She was forced into an orgy with Hef's male friends. Former Playboy bunny PJ Masson said all the guys were laughing when she got out of the limo. She was drunk and drugged. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, a German Shepherd shows up. They got her so messed up they made her give the German Shepherd a blowjob. You want to talk about depravity?
Well, yeah, I can get on with that, or agree with that, I should say.
Should be making the hot chicks
blow German
blow
Shepherds.
German Shepherds.
Yeah.
I don't,
Couldn't do an American Shepherd.
T's got to piss.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah. The Playboy clubs were touted as a place where sophisticated men could be in the company of their peers while being served by beautiful women in bunny outfits. But under the veneer of glamour, there was an ugly truth. The celebs and VIPs who came to the clubs could get away with anything. I just don't think that's that much of a surprise. I think we all assumed that those uber privileged and running in those circles were getting away with murder. They were doing whatever they want. All of the clubs had a cleanup crew which hushed up embarrassing incidents without involving the police. Mast and the bunny mother claims that the incident with Don Cornelius was the worst she had ever heard of, and that Hef knew all about it. Cornelius was at one of the clubs. Now he was the host of Soul Train.
Cornelius.
Don Cornelius.
Yeah.
Cornelius was at one of the clubs when two sisters, aged around 20 and 21, who had just started working there, caught his eye, and he invited them over. Don had been in the club many times. Many people saw him, so they didn't have any fear at the time. These two young girls got in his Rolls Royce, went to his home. We didn't hear from them for 3 days. We couldn't figure out where they were. They were separated, one locked in one room, the other in another. They were tied up and bound. The sister could hear her other sister screaming. There were wooden objects she was sodomized with, and she could hear her other sister being brutalized. It was horrible. One of the girls managed to get out and make a call to her bunny mother, but the incident was never reported to the police.
That's who you call?
Yeah, the bunny mother.
That's who you call.
Yeah.
The one that set you up in this in the first place.
Yeah.
Hey, pimp, can you come get me from this crazy John?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cornelius's privileges were never suspended. He was back at the club the following week. Valet Trachtenberg. Hefner would drink around 40 Pepsis a day and ate 2 to 3 pounds of M&Ms a day.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
How do you live that fucking long?
Right?
I don't know. Coke and fucking probably. But
Yeah.
wow.
He made it to 91.
That's insane.
Yeah. His sexual apparatus, such as dildos, nipple clips, whips, and straps, were kept in the headboard behind his bed. One of Valet Tettenbaum's jobs would be to put on gloves and collect all the sex toys after an orgy, put them in a special bucket, and take them to the maids who would clean them. Secrets of Playboy will air on A&E January 24th.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
at least he's dead.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the guy made it to 90 before he died.
Yeah.
And he's been dead, what, 5 years? I don't know, give or take,
Ish.
somewhere in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
This shit could have come out long before this. But nobody wanted to fuck with it then.
Yeah.
Nobody wanted to give up that gravy train then.
Nope.
Nobody wanted to bitch then.
Nope.
Now he's a monster.
Yeah. But he's a dead monster, so he doesn't give a shit. He lived the life of Riley for decades and decades
he can't
and
defend.
decades.
He also can't defend himself.
True.
It's part of the issue I have with this.
The only issue I have with this is
I'm gonna say none of it's true. I'm not saying he's not a monster, but
while you were in your prime, hottest you could be, you jumped into what everybody on planet Earth knew was like this untouchable ring of sex and
cult type thing.
Yeah, like it is what it's to come out now. Woe is me.
Yeah.
I was taken advantage of. Like,
Yeah.
okay, most people have never been to the Playboy Mansion, but they know exactly what the fuck's going on in the Playboy Mansion.
Exactly.
The
Right.
stories are legendary.
Yeah.
So for you to jump into the middle of it, be promoted round the fucking clock on A&E and on E and on ABC, paraded through magazines after Sports Illustrated and Playboy, reaping all the rewards. You want to come back now and act like, I know I stayed there for 45 years, but it was disgusting what he did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All
Because that gravy train's over, so now it's time to find the new one.
Yeah. So
I'm
maybe
gonna write a book.
write a book, be part of a documentary.
Yeah. Do the fucking interview tour.
It's hardly like the innocent secretary who
Yeah.
gets abused by her boss and doesn't have any other options for
Right.
3 straight years
Yeah.
and wants to come out and tell what it was really like.
Yeah, you know what you're getting into
Yeah.
going into that.
Yeah. If you're willing to be smoking hot and take dick from a fucking octogenarian,
Yeah.
to have all your needs met, all the pleasure of the world, have your fucking poodles and dogs and whatever you want, whenever you want, fly on private jets all over the world. That's the deal. That's the trade-off.
There were thousands and thousands and thousands of women
Yeah.
that posed for Playboy
Yeah.
that weren't at the mansion. That was a completely separate entity. That was now the women that they weren't totally separate from each other.
Yeah.
But they weren't all inclusive either.
Yeah.
You could do one without the other. So it's like, oh, well, I was doing Playboy, an opportunity. I was a model. I was doing this. Okay, great. But that didn't mean you had to go fall on dicks either.
Yeah.
So.
And those parties, Hef has a handful of parties. So I don't know if you want to live there and be a part of his 5-night sex capades.
Yeah.
That's for the guys.
Yeah.
They're taking advantage of you, but you don't have to be there.
No.
You know? I mean, that's I don't know. Not to dismiss it, but
Not at all.
we
But
all know what was going on there. So don't
just
act
a little
like
disingenuous to come out now and like, oh, he was a monster. Like,
Yeah.
Well, he's always been. I mean,
Yeah.
And, okay.
what you gonna do.
Yeah.
Speaking of potential monsters,
Uh-oh.
Representative Matt Gaetz, Florida.
Yeah.
Is he the guy that looks like Butthead?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a weird looking dude.
Super wealthy family.
He was the one, flying the young girls around with him or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the story. He's denied it, of course, like they all do.
Well, of course. I'm going to go with you.
You think?
More than likely. Yeah.
Yeah. Would make sense, especially with the company he keeps, who already have pled guilty to shit.
Yeah.
An ex-girlfriend of Matt Gaetz was granted immunity by prosecutors after testifying about a 2018 trip they took to the Bahamas with an 18-year-old girl. Gaetz denies trafficking. The ex testified in front of a federal grand jury in Orlando last Wednesday. She, Gaetz, and 2 other women, including the 18-year-old Gaetz was also having sex with, made the Caribbean trip 4 years ago. It's unclear what the ex said in court, but prosecutors are trying to ascertain whether the 18-year-old was actually 17. Mm-hmm. She began seeing Gaetz. If she's 18, is there any problem here? Because I don't think he was married.
Legally, no. Morally questionable, but legally, no.
Sure.
Yeah.
Again, with the power dynamic. Yeah. You know, that would make her younger than the age of consent in Florida. He denies wrongdoing. The former teenager is still being sought by investigators. What, they can't find her to question her?
Maybe she did a little swan dive.
Well, I think it would be pretty easy to identify the dates you went to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
All you got to do is identify this girl and find
correlate
out
it with some
how
birth
old
dates.
was she.
Yeah.
I mean, like this
Shouldn't be that hard. Well, I
this
don't know that
doesn't
it's
seem
necessarily
like-
this when they're saying that of when he started seeing her.
Yeah.
So this date is this date, and she was probably 18 then. But if their relationship had been going on for 6 months or a year prior to this,
Right.
then therein lies the issue.
The unnamed ex-girlfriend and the other woman allegedly traveled to Bahama in 18, along with this third woman who Gaetz was in the relationship. So I don't know which one they're talking about. They got to be talking about the young one. That's what investigators care
I
about.
think that's the issue.
They're also assessing whether any of the 3 women on the trip were paid and were illegally trafficked across U.S. borders into Florida for the purpose of sex with the congressman.
Okay.
So
I guess if it's a prostitute and it goes through,
Yeah, and you
through
bring her into-
waters, yeah. Well, yeah, going from the Bahamas and then back, I guess.
yeah, if you're going to do that, do it with a 20-year-old.
Yeah, well, okay, hey. Hey,
I mean, if that's
it's great
if
advice,
if
but
that's your
it's-
gig,
that-
don't do it with someone who's flirting with the age of consent. Like, what
unless
are you,
that's
nuts?
your thing. So,
17 is 19. You can fucking.
Okay, I mean,
for the most part, don't you?
sounds like there's a
It's-
pattern here. I'm just saying.
No, I would think though. If
Tell that to Epstein.
no, what I'm saying is, don't you think 17? Like if it was a 7-year-old girl, I would think that you go, yeah, that's his thing. 7-year-old girls.
Sure.
17, I think 16 would qualify. 23 would qualify in that 17-year-old range.
Yeah, unless that's your thing. unless you're hung up on a number.
Really? Okay, that's a weird one. Never heard that.
Well, I mean, it happens all the fucking time.
Someone's hung up on like, no, she has to be 17.
Well, I mean, being underage, I think, is probably a thing for people.
See, I always think of
clearly.
underage as like way underage.
Well, listen, I mean, it's anything but under a day before 18 is underage.
right. No, I know,
So,
but
okay.
I know.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying.
Don't you think there's
He
a
did-
huge difference between 7 and 17?
Well, yeah, that's not my fucking words. Those are yours.
No,
yeah,
I'm just
of course
saying.
there is.
When I think of underage trafficking,
Yeah,
I'm
that
thinking
is.
of little kids.
Yeah.
That's usually what I'm thinking.
Yeah, he could have taken a fucking 20-year-old or a 22-year-old
Yeah.
or a fucking 40-year-old.
Yeah.
But he didn't.
No.
Why? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Okay, but he didn't take a
Do you understand
7-year-old.
what I'm saying, though?
Yeah, but yes and no, I don't. But he could have taken a 20-year-old. He could have taken a 7-year-old.
And maybe he took
didn't.
120-year-olds.
He took a 17-year-old.
Possibly.
Allegedly.
They're saying 18-year-old. They're trying to figure out if she was 17.
Yeah, but
I'm saying if you're
there's been-
flirting with that line, why would you just step over it by an extra foot and have no issues?
Then why would
I'm not
anyone?
saying it's right. He shouldn't be trafficking chicks no matter what.
Then why would anyone ever? By that theory. Why would it ever be an issue by that theory?
Yeah. No. I
Okay.
guess. I'm
Well,
just,
it's not 7 or 17. There's a big area in between there.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure. I think 13's a problem, 14's a problem, 15's a problem, 16's a problem, 17, and maybe she's a couple weeks before 18. Like, I get where that line would be a little blurry.
Okay.
You know, where not blurry, but it just seems like, okay, wait 2 weeks, dude, until she's 18, and then you don't have a legal issue.
Okay.
Unless that's your thing,
Or
which would
just-
be a really weird thing to me.
I think it's clearly a thing. I think it's pretty fucking prevalent in this fucking world.
Underage trafficking, yes.
Yes, and they're not 7.
They're not usually 17 3/4 either. That seems like you'd be smart enough to wait a month.
So there's no in between. 7 or 17 and fucking.
No, 12 is a problem. Mom shopping her 16-year-old to the fucking CNN producer is a problem.
Yeah. all of it.
Big,
Okay.
big fucking problem.
Yeah. There's a number for a
17
reason.
3/4 seems like, what are you doing, dude?
Okay.
We're like a week away. Well, what are we doing?
Fair. You can argue that it's a gray area, but to act like somehow that's like you've never heard of it being a thing is weird to me.
Do you think people that would
If it wasn't,
like,
they would
dance-
just
No,
pick
no, no,
a fucking legal girl.
No. I'm saying, well, it's legal in Georgia to be with a 16-year-old. So Florida, Georgia, it's different. So there are gray areas that people argue about. I'm not arguing this. I'm just having a discussion because we're on the air.
Okay.
But for someone like that, do you think most people that would be with an underage girl that's 17 would also feel okay with sleeping with a 13-year-old girl?
Maybe. I don't know.
See, I would think no.
Why?
I don't know. I'm just
Diving
guessing.
into
I'm just
mind?
guessing. I'm just
Okay.
guessing. Some would, obviously. There's some would. Of
course.
But I would think most people like, she was 17, 18, I don't know, I didn't card her.
Mm-hmm.
But if you saw a 12-year-old girl, it'd be like, fuck, are you out of your mind? I would think that's majority. Could be wrong.
Could
wouldn't,
be.
Wouldn't you think that was,
I would think.
girl gets into a bar with a fake ID. She's actually 17. You don't know that. You don't card her.
Oh, that's now you're getting into fucking.
But no, I'm just saying
there. Right.
those variants where if a 12-year-old walked in, like any of those guys that would go, she's close. She's probably not 21, but she's probably 18. Take that girl home, would look at a 12-year-old and go, get the fuck out of here, you creep.
Okay.
I'm just having conversation. Just guessing.
I know. I'm not sure of your conversation.
One of the sources said Gates' ex-girlfriend possesses information in connection to the investigation of both the sex trafficking and obstruction allegations. No further details of that information have emerged. Gates is married to Ginger Lucky. She is the sister of Palmer Lucky, the founder of Oculus VR.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I think he comes from like extreme wealth too.
Yeah.
Like gross wealth. Who he wed last year. This may be a willing participant who has a smart lawyer who sought an immunity deal from the government, talking about his ex-girlfriend.
Right.
The government does not give immunity blindly. They know what they're getting in exchange. That doesn't mean all that much, though. Giving immunity does not mean that she's got information necessarily
Not
about...
necessarily. It doesn't mean that
Yeah.
she could even has anything that she could be like prosecuted or anything for the immunity.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
But in the headlines, it makes a big deal. It makes people go, oh, like now she's free to talk. Now she's going to spill. It doesn't really play out. This isn't a movie.
No.
So it doesn't play out like that. Not trying to defend Matt
She's just
Gates.
going to come
at
in
all.
and drop the bomb.
Yeah, no. Gates' attorney said, we have no credible basis for a charge against Congressman Gates. We remain steadfast in our commitment to challenge any allegations. Now, here's where I go, fuck this guy. The company you keep comes into play, too.
Okay.
So Joel Greenberg, former Florida County tax collector and associate of Matt Gates, tons of pictures of them together, who introduced Gates to that woman when she was allegedly 17 years old. Greenberg pled guilty in May of this year to 6 federal charges, including trafficking a minor. Greenberg admitted he was involved in sugar daddy relationships in which he paid women for sex, including a minor with whom he engaged in commercial sex acts. He has signed a plea agreement with the federal government that includes a clause stipulating he'll cooperate fully in the investigation and the prosecution of other persons.
Yeah.
Gates needs to just go away.
Well, I think he's going to, probably, would be my guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, I don't think he's going to have a choice in the matter.
Boy, I would think being a youngish congressman, you could fucking get your own ass if you wanted.
I'm sure you could.
You know, like, what is this? Like, who are these teams of guys that collude together? Like, you bring them down here, I'll pay, and they're just paid to have sex with a congressman? Like, how do you think that's going to play out?
Not great.
Ever.
No.
Is it something where we're so blind and it works out 9 times out of 10, and then there's the one unlucky butthead-looking dude who gets popped?
Well, yeah. I'm sure there's a ton that we have no idea. I mean, there's 90% going on that we don't know about.
You think so?
Yeah.
That it doesn't come out ever against a public
I
figure?
didn't say ever. I'm just saying that I'm sure there's way more that we don't know about than we ever find out or will ever find out about.
See, I think that
I mean, look at like the Epstein stuff. I mean, that goes so much deeper than whatever.
yeah,
even
Epstein's
the
different
8
a little bit
Why?
because he's a multi-billionaire.
The fuck? Why? Why is it's not? What the fuck does that have to do with anything
Because
about
those people talked, and he was able to buy people off to shut the fuck up and make sure cases went away and get charges dropped to nothing. Like he was playing on a totally different level.
I'm talking about it happening.
Right, and I'm talking about people credibly coming out and reporting it or whatever.
Yeah.
Because there's a big difference between the union boss who's banging his secretary. She goes to the public and everyone goes, no one knows who the union boss is. Fuck it, whatever. It doesn't have that same public spark. A congressman?
You think you know? I mean, what percentage do you think we know about of this sort of thing that goes on?
I don't know. Back in the day, probably shit tons. Nowadays, stop it. Nowadays, I don't think you can get away with it as easily, obviously, as you did
Clearly,
back
it's starting
in the
to
day.
come out more than it did.
Way more, not more.
So
Like,
again, give me a percentage. What do you
back
think?
in the day, 80% of them we didn't know about.
I bet way more than that. And even so, what now?
So you think over 80% of congressmen and people in high
I
places?
didn't say just congressmen, just of all of it, of pedos fucking period.
Oh.
Or just all of it, trafficking.
Well, yeah. Okay, so a lot of that was he said, she said. So a lot of it probably they didn't have enough evidence to come forward. Plus, you've got people with backgrounds that aren't stellar.
So you think like when this comes out on like Gates, this is like some fucking, just 1 in a million thing? It's just
No,
a
I simply
one-off
asked.
that gets. I know.
It seems to me that in today's society, especially in the last 10 years.
Yeah, well, with videos and phones on everybody's shit,
Yeah,
and
and
cameras
people
everywhere,
talking,
and all the other different stuff.
And people trying to politically attack their opponents for anything they can. There are so many gremlins seeking out stories that I would think it'd be impossible nowadays to get away with these things without someone talking, someone leaking, somehow it coming out that you were involved in a relationship you should have been involved with.
Depends on who talks and who knows.
And I'm saying 50 years ago, you could easily get away with that. You could, the press had some sort of moral, like, well, we don't want to sink his presidency, see? So they wouldn't report it. Nowadays, they can't wait to report it.
Okay.
And so I just think it'd be
Agree
really...
to disagree. I put my number out there. You didn't. It's fine.
What's your number? What do you think?
I said mine.
What? What is with your attitude right now?
I'm saying that because I said I think there's 90% of this shit that goes on that you never know about, that nobody finds out about. And you came at me with it. And I said, so what's your number? And you said years ago, 80%. So what is it now? Now 50,
I think
10?
we're talking about
don't know.
different things, Troy. I'm talking about public figures. You're talking about pedophiles in general.
Okay. Well, okay.
I'm talking about. I can't understand. I can't wrap my head around a public figure with a spotlight on them doing this sort of shit, thinking it's not going to come out.
Yeah.
Are you out of your mind? I'm not talking about the fucking weird guy down the street that's on the dark web. Of course, yeah, probably 95% of that goes on.
Even that. There's
unknown.
There's so much of it that you
maybe
is just done that you'll probably never know about.
Maybe. I don't know.
I think so. That's my opinion.
Okay.
I'm entitled to it.
You are.
Well, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, I've interviewed people about this. They've
Sure.
said really high numbers that go uncaught.
There you go.
Yeah.
See?
But they're talking not about public figures. They're talking about
Okay.
strict pedophiles.
Yeah.
It's very hard to. But anyway, let's get to some email.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Offense never taken. I am not a man of the cloth. However, I am uber religious.
Okay.
So what does that mean? You just go to church a lot, but you're not actually like
Yeah,
hosting.
ordained or anything. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
not. You're just there a lot. You're not.
Yeah.
You're not. You're in the back, not in the front.
Yeah, exactly. You're in one of the pews. You're a pew member. I love the show. I always have, and I can't recall any time I've ever been offended by your show. Well, we're not doing our jobs.
We
are failing
that is
miserably.
Surprising,
Yeah.
actually.
In fact, I'd say you don't go far enough. Keep up the great work.
Oh, well done. All
That
right.
was sent from his iPhone 14 mini.
Ooh, well done. I didn't even know that was a thing yet.
I didn't either.
All right.
Hello. This is from Tom.
Hi, Tom.
I may have been a fart in a jar trailblazer at age 10.
Okay.
Circa 1990. My best friend, his younger brother, and I found some empty baby food jars in his parents' basement. We proceeded to fart in them and cap them. They stank days later.
Okay.
Maybe even weeks.
Fair.
They might still stink, but we will never know. His mom finally found out what we were doing and threw them out and yelled at us.
Oh, man.
To this day, when we all get together, it comes up when we talk about the dumb stuff we did growing up. That's not dumb stuff.
No.
That's great
That's
stuff.
science. That's what that is.
Isn't that funny? The mom gets mad. What are you doing farting in jars? Throws them out, kicks them out of the house. I remember me and my buddy Don were in my basement in Livonia. We're probably 10 years old and find a stack of Playboys.
Yeah.
And we're just like, fuck yeah, close the door. And we're just thumbing through Playboys. And my mom came down and was like, Don, you go home. Mike, you go up to your room and blah, blah. I'm like, thinking about it now, it's like, the fuck did we do wrong?
Right?
You left nudie magazines laying around. I just found them. What am I in trouble for?
Yeah.
Why'd you send my boy home? This is bullshit.
That's mom guilt. That's
Jesus.
what that is.
She probably went home and was like, Jesus Christ. Hope they don't talk in the neighborhood. Anyway, also that thing that Troy was talking about, using the airmail to fart across a room, is called the Air Zuka.
Yeah, that is it.
I have one.
Okay.
And it will
doesn't surprise me.
It will totally give someone pink eye from across the room with good aim. It really confuses squirrels too on a calm day outside.
Okay. Oh, this is the Airzuka? Okay, yeah.
Does that look familiar?
Yeah, yep, something like that.
So what part, do you fart into the plastic bag?
Yeah,
at
I'm
the
not sure
top?
exactly how it works. I thought it was, it's kind of like a Nerf gun kind of thing, but it like
Yeah, I can
like
picture that.
Yeah, like it would blow like a smoke ring
Yeah,
across
yeah.
something like that. Only it's a fart ring,
So do you fart?
and it just does like a whole blast of air, like a real fast or something. I don't know exactly.
So is he
how
holding
it
a
works.
handle here and you fart in here?
I think so, and then maybe you close the. I don't know exactly. I don't have one, so
I want him to test it with his kids or something, like fart in there and
Sure.
take video.
yeah, watch it shoot across
Yeah.
the room and watch the gag happen.
Yeah. Do it to his cat, his dog, his
anything.
wife, anything. I
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah,
Just
I want-
anyone that
I
gets
need
a
I need
reaction.
validation that you can shoot pink eye across the room.
Yeah. That was always my threat to Marshall when I would wrestle with him. Like, you want me to pink in your eye? And he's like, I'll pink in your eye. And I'm like, I always threaten to fart in his face. Anyway. All right,
Yeah.
T, let's get out of here for
Lurker
today.
durker.
Back tomorrow. I don't know about Thursday. I have a doctor's appointment,
Okay,
but we'll see. We'll
see.
do one tomorrow.
fair.
And hopefully people will join us then. We'll see you tomorrow.